Boom, fire. You're now tuned into Smoke Breaks. BeLeaf, are you here with us?
Yes, Rasta, I'm here, brethren. Yeah, man. Blast it up to the sky. Take off like a spaceship, me say. Big up, Smokebreak. You know, you're tuned in live and direct with BeLeaf Cannabis. Boom! Fire!
Thank you so much for joining us today, man. It's an absolute honor to have you here, and I know everybody's just as excited as I am to get this going.
Well, thank you for having me, man. Yeah, live and direct with, BeLeaf Cannabis. Tell them and say, boom! Fire! Thank you for coming and checking us out, yes.
We're live and direct. Get hype. Drop some boom fire emojis down in the chat.
Boom! Fire!
Let them know we're here for the good times.
Yes, beautiful day. Everybody having a good day out there. Discord land. Let's do this.
You're now tuned into Smoke Breaks, the world's dankest podcast. Spliffs on spliffs of the most fire conversations from around the globe surrounding the culture, history, cultivation, and breeding of cannabis. All that and much more brought to you by the Upper Node. So go on and light a joint and get into your zone as this epic Smoke Break episode unfolds. Today for EP431, we're bringing out the fire. Smoking out of Oklahoma, the realest of the real. It's an honor to have here with us today the man behind BeLeaf Cannabis. Many of you do already know, but if you don't, BeLeaf is an inspirational hunter, breeder, and creative who has dedicated the last 30 years to selecting and breeding nothing but the finest genetics with love, care, and respect. Many of you have heard or enjoyed some of this fire that's been hand curated by our friend here, known for popular strains such as White Truffle, The Creature, Chimera, and plenty more. So without further introduction, I just want to jump right into the juice. And once again, thanks for joining us today, BeLeaf. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Bro, thank you.
I really do appreciate it. So before we go full speed, I gotta know, what's your favorite genre of music? And you got favorite artists or bands?
I like reggae music mostly, but I like all good music. So yeah, Still Pulse, Third World, Gregory Isaacs,
Shout
Bob
out Gregory
Marley.
Isaacs.
Yeah, man. Wailing Souls. Any old reggae, new reggae, or other music that's good. I might pop on a country song every once in a while, some classical music here and there. I'm big into foreign music.
There you
Anything that's
go.
real exotic and foreign that sounds cool. I love it. I really find myself moving away from, like stuff that's on the radio or whatever. I don't ever listen to radio. So I like to go my own way.
I like that. I like that. Yeah. You dropped some gems right there. Don Carlos, you like Don Carlos too?
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I smoked some of my cannabis with Don at the Reggae in the Desert event a couple years in a row, actually.
really? Wow. Legendary moments. That's sick. Oh, hell yeah. Smoking with
Yeah,
Don Carlos himself.
yeah. I was big. I've been in the reggae scene for a while, so I know a lot of artists. And if I go to Jamaica, I can hang out with a lot of different artists. And when they come on the tour, usually, I might know the guys. If not, if I don't know them, it's pretty easy to get to know them when you bring a big fat jar of BeLeaf cannabis.
Bring that fire out. That's great. All right. Well, so for those who just are discovering BeLeaf, I want to know myself too, actually. Are you originally from Oklahoma?
No, not at all, man. I moved here about 3 or 4 years ago. We moved to Oklahoma because they had just started licensing commercial facilities,
Hmm.
and they had very easy licensing that was very inexpensive. And the number one reason was unlimited plant count once you're licensed.
There you go. That's a good reason right there.
Yep.
So is that where BeLeaf was started, or it was already happening before you went out there?
So BeLeaf Cannabis originated about 7 or 8 years ago
Hmm.
in Las Vegas when I used to live there. We grew into a secondary cultivation area in Sonoma, California. So we became cultivating in both states. And then basically I got a really good opportunity with some property up in Oregon that we went up there and cultivated up there for a while. And then after that, it was Oklahoma. I'm
Beautiful.
born and raised in California,
Oh,
Pismo Beach
oh,
areas
nice.
where I grew up.
The
I
sand
moved out.
dunes. Is there sand dunes over
Yeah,
there?
man,
Yeah.
exactly.
I
Yeah,
love
everybody
that.
comes from all over California to go right on the dunes. Yeah,
I love
yeah,
that.
but that's where I'm originally from. I moved out of California when I was about 22.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So that's nice. All right. Not always from Oklahoma, original California. Well, you've been around a couple places. Cool. So was the first time you grew was actually California?
The first time I grew, I was 13 years old.
Dropping seeds.
Yeah, yeah, I was 13, so yeah, that was 33, 34 years ago. I popped my first seeds. Yeah.
I dig it. I dig it. All right. And well, everybody, like I mentioned, shout out to you for hunting the white truffle. There's actually a cross going right now with white truffle, and I don't know what the other one is, but there's a cross going in one of the journals with the white truffle. Shout out to you
Uh,
for that. That was massive. You sent that.
yeah.
You
Yeah,
sent
man. Of course, I didn't breed her, but I found her, named her, and hyped her up and shared her and got her all around. So I appreciate that.
yeah, the push behind it.
Yeah.
Props for that.
Yeah, man. And people sometimes may underestimate what it takes to hunt or to test. It's a major undergoing if you do it correctly. And so it's a major thing to find a pheno. And, she named herself, really. Anybody that's grown her and knows what white truffle smells like, you could tell, she, there's nothing other to name her than white
Right.
truffle. So, yeah, she's a beautiful girl. I'm glad everybody loves her. I knew when I found her that she would be famous, and she was just on another level. So all I
Yeah.
had to do was get her out to the right people in the right places.
That's
And she,
harder. That's hard to do too.
yeah, man. Yeah, man. Well, I appreciate that, Rasta. And
Yeah.
I'm glad you like her. I love her. I
Oh, I
still
love
love
it.
her.
I
Love
love it.
her.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. But that's not the only one in your catalog. Like you said, you hunted and sent that one to the moon. But now this new one that we just seen you drop on the people with the Seed Junky collab, the permanent chimera, that one's about to
Yeah.
go crazy too.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Man, people are begging and trying to do anything they can to get these seeds out of me early. I'm like, no, I nobody. If I give it to one person, I got to give it to everyone early. So
Right.
no, wait till the freaking drop. Yeah, but it's gonna be a big drop. Everybody's really excited.
When is
Myself and
that?
B.
When is the drop?
It's gonna be 7/7.
7/7. Okay. Some lucky
July.
numbers too. I like that.
Yeah, man. Good numbers are always good. Yeah, you
Uh,
get good luck on that. Hopefully, everybody have good luck when they grow it out. We'll get good luck and sell it out. It's pretty limited. It's pretty limited drop. So
Small
I think
batch.
it'll go pretty quickly and
Hell
um,
yeah.
see what happens. I can't wait to get it into people's hands.
How did that
Um,
one come together? You got the pollen or
yeah, Beezy and I have been talking for a while, and he just, he sent me the pollen, and I hit a little room of some Chimera number two
Mhm.
with his pollen. And lo and behold, here we go. We got some
Lo and
packs.
behold, some beauties. I'm in line for it. You guys
Yeah,
and the
he's the
chat
same.
better be in line for it too.
Yeah, I'm not. Well, yeah. Well, and if people really want to grab it, they need to jump on to BZ's and my own newsletters, which are available to sign up on both of our pages.
On the
So you go to
website or
yep, seedjunky.com or
okay,
boomfire.com, www.boomfire with a Y on the fire
there it
dot
is.
com. Yep. And you can sign up for the newsletters there because we're going to drop the permanent chimera to the people on that newsletter list before the general public.
Beautiful. You heard it, guys. I'm gonna go do that right now, actually. You
Yep.
guys got to get
So if you
on
want
it.
to
So
grab it for sure, yeah, get on that newsletter, bro. Both
it's
of
a
them. Both
it's
of
a
them.
yeah, it's gonna be a limited drop. So go grab both newsletters at seedjunky.com and then boomfire.com. It looks like
And the
yeah,
drop will only be available at www.boomfire.com. That's my site.
love
That's
it.
the only place it'll be available.
Love it. That's good. Yeah, someone
Yeah.
asked how much are they gonna be? Do you have a price on them?
Well, you see, I price my seeds based on how fire they turn out, and I'm at
Hmm.
day 46
Oh,
of flower. So really, we're releasing it as soon as we can once we're done with testing.
beautiful.
BZ's on day 59 of testing, so he's a little bit ahead of me,
Uh-huh.
about 13 or 14 days ahead of me. So I always price my stuff based on how fire it is, how it turns out, what the herm ratio is, if any, what the winner ratio is, if any. This is
Hmm.
how I price my seeds. And that's why people will see me drop, like in the Chimera line, for example, you'll see seeds priced, a little lower, some a little higher.
Hmm.
That's why there's a difference in pricing because of how it tested, how fire it was, how many winners, how many herms, or how many not, whatever there was.
That makes
Um,
sense. Yeah, no, completely. And shout out to you for doing all that rigorous testing. I don't think people understand, that's a whole process that a lot of new companies popping up, they just skip it altogether. And so shout out to you for doing all the big testing and dropping some good stuff.
yeah,
I like
bro.
how it's priced that way too. That's good.
It's
That's dope.
priced fairly, bro. If it's gonna be a $500 pack,
Hmm.
bro, trust me, it's worth way more than that because a $500 pack of my seeds, that's going to have a winner ratio of at least 35 to 40%, which
Right.
means, right, if you plant 10 seeds, you're going to get 3 to 4 seeds that are winners, plants that come out to be winners. And that's in my regard. And I'm more picky than the average person who's buying a pack
Right.
and growing out that pack. the winner ratio is really what you're looking at. So if you're buying a $500 pack and you're getting for example, a 36% winner ratio, which is one of the winner ratios on one of the packs I have currently around at that price, what are you paying per winner? You're paying $170
right.
per winner if you get 3. If you get 4, you're paying 125. Well, newsflash, like the winners that I would pick would be more than that as a clone if I was to sell it. And people
Exactly.
love to buy it. They would
Yeah.
love to buy it.
Not
There's
only
no
to
way.
mention the production on it too, you know?
For real. Yeah. Listen, I'm not going to release seeds unless they're producing a lot of fire and they're commercially viable. That means they have to produce.
Nothing but
Um,
fire. And you are commercial too, so you do know what the
yeah,
room takes, what it needs. So
yeah,
that,
Rasta, absolutely.
yeah, that
Yeah,
lends
like on
a
the
whole nother
Chimera
level.
line. Yeah, on the Chimera line, for example, there were 23 crosses that I made, but I only released 12 of them because 11 of them didn't pass my testing. They weren't suitable to be released.
Hmm.
Be it maybe high herm ratio, maybe the germination ratio wasn't exactly what I wanted in combination with maybe mutants or just overall not that fire or it wasn't producer. More than about half of the line was cut and will never see the light of day in terms of an official release by me. We got to be picky, and
Hmm.
that's I could charge less if I wasn't that picky. I could if I was just throwing all 23 crosses out there for
Nah,
people to
yeah.
pick.
But
I could charge less because
it's
I have
better that you're picky
I
though,
buy.
in my opinion, you know?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I'm here. Look, I can't contaminate somebody's garden with herms or some kind of messed up plants. That's ridiculous. You're
Right.
depending on me and you're trusting me to put my genetics in your grow, and that could be everything. That could be your medicine. That could be you actually have a serious debilitating disease that's going to cause you some kind of harm if you don't yield what you need to yield out of the seeds I sold or out of the clones I sold you. But we take
100%.
that serious, bro. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, no, the Chimera, since you mentioned it, has a dope story behind it. But I wanted to touch on that, but I think people would actually love the story about the love seeds. I don't know if people know about the love seeds and some of those projects too. If you wanted to touch on that at all.
Yeah, bro. Of course, absolutely. That's a great question. So the love seeds, yeah, are the foundation of a lot of the genetics that we started with, at least in Oklahoma. So some examples of love seeds, and then I'll get a little into the story. Would be like the creature is a love seed. All the love seeds has a number, which I'll describe a little bit. But the creature's number was 2260, like 2.260 was
Hmm.
her number. And then if when they show personality or plantality, they would get a name. Like the creature got a name.
Yeah.
Gasonade got a name, right? Red Hots got a name. Those are all love seeds. So basically, what happened was it goes back to when I was cultivating in Vegas and I was testing some genetics for Gage Green. And this was when I was cultivating both in Vegas and in Sonoma. So I would be 3.5 days in Vegas, 3.5 days in Sonoma, back and forth, right? So I was in Sonoma at this time and it was the summer and my AC went out in my room where I was testing
Hmm.
and pheno hunting, and the temperature got up to 96 degrees.
Oh man. Oh man.
And these were already testers.
Uh-huh. Right.
So a lot of things hermed in that room because of that
Right.
one day. It stayed that hot for 4 or 5 hours before the
Oh
AC
wow.
guy, got there, got it fixed, and it got back to temperature. Of course, I instructed my son to lower the lights and do all he could, but it was hot. It was Vegas, and it was already hot in there. A lot of them hermed, and we collected those seeds, especially from the better looking pollen recipients. And you know, I believed what all the bro science is and all the people say, that those seeds that came from that would be worth nothing
Mhm.
because they were herm seeds that came from herm plants in a herm situation. They're just going to be dirty trash herms, right? That's what everybody thinks. I've disproven that many times. It's definitely not the case.
Go look at the
Um,
pics. Check
I
the
mean,
pics.
crying out loud. I labeled the bag river seeds. Put them all in a couple of bags. I labeled them all river seeds.
Hmm.
I labeled them river seeds because I figured, someday I just throw them down by the river and see what happened. Because after all, they don't have any value. This is what I was thinking. So we moved to Oregon, and I did a big pheno hunt in Oregon. And in that pheno hunt, I planted 30 of these river seeds. And I grew those out in a room that was like a 30 liter. That was also a pheno hunt and a testing room. I had a bunch of in-house. I had so many different breeders. Square One was in that room.
Oh, wow.
Soulfire was in that room. A lot of great breeders. Really gave me great opportunities early on to test, which I did. And there was probably 15 or 20 breeders in this room. And then I had
Wow.
river seeds in there also.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this farm was like out far, in Oregon in the boonies. And we didn't have really good power.
Mm-hmm.
And it was December, I remember. And during the flower cycle of that test run of those testers, the power had failed 3 different times and messed up the light cycle throughout the process of the 70-day flowering period. And obviously that caused herms. Okay. So the 30 plants that were river seeds, there were no winners.
Damn.
Which is very odd for 30
Mm-hmm.
plants. You're striking out there. It's been the case because the Gage Green genetics, they were fire. In the Vegas house, they were fire. The rest of the plants, there was fire everywhere, but there was herms because the lights, again, had problems and it was fucking herm fest. What we did is about the same time I was reading a book called The Secret Messages of Water. And it basically proves that human emotion can affect physical reality. And you guys should check that out. I know we don't have time on the podcast now. I'll probably be back for a follow-up. We could talk about it more, or
That
you
would
can
be
just
dope.
check it out on YouTube.
What was it
The
called
book,
again so people can hear it?
it's called The Hidden Messages of Water. The author is Matsuru Emoto.
Okay.
So basically, he proves that human emotion has an effect, or human thoughts have an effect on physical matter. He proved it quickly by filling up some water glasses and putting different labels on them, like love and hate and death and heaven. And then he had people observe those water glasses, just walk by them. And then he froze that water, and the crystals that were formed, although the water was all from the same source, the crystals that were formed were vastly different from each other. The love crystals, for example, were beautiful, white, geometrically shaped, perfect, and they were bright. The one that said hate was dirty. There was no geometric shapes. It was brown. It was mucky. It looked like mud. It was definitely not a positive vibration. So it proved that human emotion. So I started thinking, hey, maybe calling these plants river seeds and just assigning them no value without even knowing it, maybe that actually affected them, because I got fire all over the room besides that. So I decided just to test that theory, and I named the seeds that I got out of that room of the new testers that had hermed, I named those love seeds.
Beautiful. I
So I
get
would
it.
change the vibe and see if there was see if that really would make a difference.
I
Then
love
we
it.
finished our work in Oregon and we moved to Oklahoma, and we planted the first batch of these love seeds. And we planted 100, like 130, and we took 112 plants into flower. And the winner ratio on those plants, when we grew them out in Oklahoma, which were in a tester room with other very well-known breeders, I won't mention their name because I don't want to disparage anybody, but
Mm-hmm.
a bunch of other well-known breeders, like 10 of them, these love seeds had a better winner ratio than everybody else in the room.
From a name swap.
And the herm rate was the lowest of any breeder in the room versus those that weren't bred.
Wow.
That was the first time I said, maybe this whole herm thing is just a whole bro science made up bullshit. Then I took one of those love seeds, the creature, who doesn't occasionally herm, she always herms, and that's the reason I don't sell that plant as a clone. It's like the only plant I haven't sold, because she will herm. And I said, who cares? Let's just breed her and see what happens, because the creature is insane. She's absolutely bonkers. A magical plant, huge producer, very aggressive, amazing terps, out of this world trichomes, wonderful bud structure, just a beautiful plant, a gift to our industry, really a gift. But she herms. So, being anybody else who followed bro science, I would have thrown her away. But I decided to further this research in herms and see what the bro science was made of,
Right.
and disproved it, bro,
See if it can
because
hold some water. It can't hold water.
whole water. Because I took white truffle, and white truffle, the first 2 or 3 times I grew her, she threw out a couple of male flowers down low. I removed them, and since then, for the last 3 years, I've grown her. She hasn't hermed once for me.
Wow.
I don't know what it is. I barely ever get anybody telling me that she herms now anymore. Whatever. The fact is that truffle does have very light herm characteristics. She's so fire that I don't think it matters because I know how to grow. But I took that plant, white truffle, and I crossed her with the creature, and out came chimera.
There you go.
And the herm rate in chimera is extremely low. It's below my guideline of 7%. I won't release seeds if they're over 7% herm rate. If I would have followed the bro science and not bred plants that were herms or had hermed, or kept plants that hermed or had hermed, and believed in all that, there would be no chimera, there would be no creature, and there would be no offspring of all the creatures that have already occurred. I did a whole
Right.
line on the creature. We crossed a lot of white truffle stuff with the creature, and now the chimera line, that's all, 25% creature in there. That's just the story of the love seeds, bro. They proved that you change the name and you change the game.
And that's amazing. From river seeds to love seeds to chimera. That's a beautiful story too. I'm
Yeah, bro. I
yeah,
appreciate that.
no, I completely love that. And I know a lot of people haven't heard that one yet, so there you guys go. Some gems right there.
Yep.
I love it. What's the biggest pheno hunt you've done? Is that one of them for the love seeds? Are you still going through some of them, no?
I have a very small stash of some love seeds. Very small stash. Yeah. So I do have some to go through still. The only ones I have left are from the best two moms that we separately jarred. And that was the jelly gelato. So those will be jelly gelato love seeds, and then the jelly breath love seeds. So those ones we know which mom they came from because those were two of the top phenos in that whole hunt. The biggest pheno hunt I've done so far is 6,500 seeds.
6,500 seeds. You killed more plants than people have grown.
Yeah, it was fun, man. That 6,500 seed, that was 51 breeders that were in that hunt.
Wow. Yeah, that's some real hunting there. That's some real hardcore hunting there. Man,
Yeah, bro.
I like that. I told you guys in the intro, the realist is a real. It's now entered the chat. Can we get some boom fires? If everybody's active in the chat, drop some boom fires for BeLeaf one time.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell them, say, boom, fire. Yeah, they
Man.
definitely need to come check out the live. We're gonna give away more seeds. We have a smoke sesh. I got a new chalice fresh in from Jamaica.
Oh wow.
We're gonna light up the coochie chalice and steam up the ganja.
I love
Uh,
that.
yeah, we're gonna play some reggae music and vibe out.
And
It's
you
a
do
good
that every
Q&A
Friday,
set.
no?
Yeah, every Friday. It's pretty much every Friday. I mean, if I'm busy or just straight worn out because I worked 100,000 hours,
Yeah.
then I might not do it. If I'm on vacation swimming with sharks or something, I might not do it. Other than that, I'm here, bro.
Have you swam with sharks before?
We just came back from Belize, man. We swam with sharks. There was like
No
30 sharks.
way. That's
Yeah,
sick. Uh,
yeah.
That's badass. Okay, well, how do you feel about giving away a seed pack real quick?
We could do a seed pack. I got that Trico Jordan 10 pack, Chimera 2 times Chimera 3. The winner ratio is 36%. I grew out 25 of these seeds, and 3 of those were winners that were put on my $10,000 menu.
There you go. Clone menu,
And,
right? So if you guys don't know, BeLeaf also has clones on the Boomfire website as well,
yep.
not just seeds. Do you want to touch on that Winter Sunset number 2S1?
Yeah, Winter Sunset is in the same room with the permanent Chimera in that testing room right now. Usually that room will fit a whole line of seeds, but I really went hard on the permanent chimera, and we got like 130 of those plants in testing right now at day 46. And then we got 30 plants of the winter sunset number 2 S1 in that room as well, which she's absolutely bonkers. She's all candy, blueberry candy, cotton candy, bubble gum. She's a little punchy, like blueberry punch.
Ooh,
Really nice, super
ooh,
sexy,
ooh, ooh.
terpy, flavorful, crikey, really nice. The
Checks
winter
all the
sunset,
boxes.
she really does. Yeah, the winter sunset is dip and sticks cut of sugar cane times chimera number 3. So she's fire. She's absolute fire. And this is the S1. So
All
winter
fem
sunset number
female.
2 times winter sunset number 2.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we could do the Trico Jordan 10 pack first, and then we could do the winter sunset after that.
Is there anything coming up? that you want to touch on?
Yeah, bro. We got a lot of stuff coming, man.
You guys got to tap into the newsletter. We'll touch on it briefly here, but make sure you're tapped
Yeah.
into the Boomfire newsletter over at their website, boomfire.com.
Yep. To the drops first. So yeah, after the Permanent Chimera and Winter Sunset #2 S1 drops, we'll be dropping the first wave or the first taste of the Dip and Stix line. We got 30 crosses in testing, all collaborations with in-house genetics.
There you
So
go.
we're testing those now. They're going to go into flower soon, and this will be the final part of the testing. Get them into flower and see what they got. Make sure they don't go crazy and do anything weird, and make sure they're fire. And then we're going to be releasing them. We got the first taste of that drop. We'll probably release three different tastes is what we're calling them because it's Dip and Stix of this drop. The first one's going to be 4 different crosses, which are already in day 45 of testing in a different testing room, and they're looking great. Yeah, we're anticipating dropping those 4 pretty soon after the Winter Sunset.
Hell yeah.
Uh-huh.
Beautiful. I
And then we'll
love
have
it.
two more drops of the Dip and Stix line, probably a month or 2 after that.
Okay, so the in-house is a collab that you're gonna do, and then is there any other breeders you're collabing with that you could talk about?
I do have a bunch of collaborations we're doing right now. I don't like to really talk about them until I got seeds in my hand, until testing is at least in veg.
Makes
Um,
sense. Is there
I
any
really,
breeder that you would want to collab that you haven't yet? Anyone you want to
um,
shout out?
I think there's a lot of breeders that honestly I'd like to collaborate with. You know,
You said
and
Vegas. You used to do Vegas. Are you from Sin City Seeds? Is that one
I
that you've
love Sin
collabed?
City. I've
Sin
grown
City.
out there. I would love to collaborate with Sin City.
Shout out to Sin City Seeds.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Sin Mints. We're actually supposed to do a podcast coming up here, so I'm gonna bring that up.
Yeah,
You
bro. Yeah,
get
put
some.
that together. We'll be glad to. Yeah, I grew a lot of Sin City gear, back when I lived in Vegas.
Hell
I used to love
yeah.
that. That was
I,
some of the stuff I tested in these big pheno hunts. So I know their gear is fire.
I'm trying to put the podcast together, so when he comes through, I'm gonna tell him. Yeah,
Nice.
we'll do it. We'll do it.
Yes, I. Yeah, we're happy to collaborate with anybody who's normal, reasonable business people and, don't have egos and too much emotions in the game. Just want to, make great seeds for people and do good business.
Hell yeah.
And that's, a lot of the people I've come across that's the case. Some not the case. So,
Right, 100%. We're running short, but I just want to say what I'm doing here is I look up to you guys, your team, and what you've built. Getting the breeders who I looked up to and inspired me on the platform here that we're building and doing a podcast with them. So I really do appreciate you, taking the time to squeeze us in. And yeah, hopefully I can put some Sin City collabs together when he gets on. That'll be dope. And if you guys didn't hear, mentioned in the beginning, I mentioned in the middle, but they're gonna have a live smoke sesh on the YouTube, on Boomfire's YouTube, BeLeaf
yep.
Cannabis. So do you want to give away the Winter Sunset?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do that, bro.
All right.
Yeah, you should be excited. That pack's fire.
Winter Sunset number 2S1. Make sure you guys are tapped into the Boomfire newsletter. Once again, it's boomfire.com. But yeah, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you got to go do your live. And once again, I really do appreciate you hopping on here. I hope we can do a follow up in the future. Maybe after you do a couple new drops or something, we could chat, chop it
Yeah,
up.
man. If people want that, drop out Boomfire emoji in the comments if you guys want to do a follow up.
Yep.
Usually, I like to do a 2 or 3 hour podcast because there's a lot of good questions. This was just time for one story. So if you want me to do another little follow up, hit that Boomfire emoji in the comments, and we'll see if we can set that up for some time that works for everybody. I got a lot of stories and a lot of knowledge to share with you guys, so I don't mind speaking.
You guys felt the vibes from the beginning.
Boomfire!
The vibes are fire.
Boomfire!
The cuts are fire.
Boomfire!
Seeds are fire.
Boomfire!
What isn't fire? Drop the
Yeah.
boom fire if you want to follow up. Let's show them how we do it. Spam it. Come on. We need to hype it up more than that. Let's do it.
Do it.
There
If
you
you want
go.
to come,
Now we're talking. Light it up.
there
Light up the chat. Let's go.
that's some fire. There you go. Definitely come check out the YouTube live in an hour. We're gonna smoke up that chalice. If you haven't seen a steam chalice, you got to get familiar with it because we're going to be bringing them to boomfire.com and getting access to everybody in America to the steam chalice. It's by far the best way to consume cannabis, in my opinion. I dab. I don't smoke flower, but I do steam up some flower in the chalice. So come check it out on BeLeaf Cannabis YouTube in an hour. Tell them. Boom. Oh, yeah. All right. I'm going to check out of here, brother. Thank you very much.
Have a good rest of your day, and I'll catch you over there. I'm going to join up.
Thank you, everybody, for joining. We appreciate you. Thanks.
Peace.